What is going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be pulling the 2.0 out of the car, out of the Mark IV, and we're going to be putting the 1.8T in it. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to try and do this all in one episode, maybe in parts. I don't know. See how long it takes. Hopefully not that long. I'm going to first start by pulling off this hood, which, there we go. Hood's off, now we can get started. I'm going to do this a little bit differently than I usually do. Usually I unhook everything in the motor and pull it out. Instead, we're going to be pulling off the wheels and taking the axles out first because I always forget about it. That, and when it comes down to the end of it, last thing you want to do is lay under the car. I'd rather pull the axles out, then pull all the easy stuff out in the end. Don't necessarily need to take the trans out, but it's going to make it 10 times easier for me to do this other than try and line it up inside there, especially since I don't have much help right now. Nobody's really around to help pull it, so we're going to see how this works. Let's get started. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to do this side. It's going to be the same process for the other side. The axle is going to be a little bit smaller on that side. This one's going to be twice as long, but same concept. So first thing you're going to need to do is take the wheel off. It's going to be 17mm bolts all around. You're going to need a 30mm axle nut socket, which you're going to need a 12.1. That way you can get the axle nut off. Aftermarket ones are 6-point. Factory ones are 12-point, depending. Sometimes they're not 12-point. I believe the factory ones are 12-point though. But I've seen ones that look factory that aren't 12-point. Either way, you're going to need 12-point. $30mm fits. Before you get started, put a jack stand under the control arm. That way if it falls, you don't need to try and hold it up with one arm if you have no help. Or put a jack underneath. Don't put pressure on it, but just put a jack on it. So what I was doing there, I was holding the axle so it didn't spin. That way all the torque was able to be applied to the nut. And there you go, 12-point. Now take that nut, just thread it on just a little bit, just so it's flush. Might have to take this and run it down a little bit. So I like to take an air hammer right to the middle instead of beating on this so you don't mushroom the end like I did last time I took this apart. But I'll show you kind of what you can do if you don't have an air hammer. You can take a punch and put it right there in the center. And you can keep doing that until it breaks loose. It won't move too much, but because it's still attached on the other end, but it will move a little bit. Same thing pretty much as a pointed bit. It's a little boogered up, but it'll work. Yeah, it still works. Of course now it doesn't want to move. Sometimes you can snake it out without taking the caliper off. I'm going to try and do that first before doing that. That way I don't have to do so much work. I'm going to disconnect the bottom. Well, there's only one ball joint, but the ball joint that's on the bottom I'm going to disconnect. That way the whole assembly comes this way a little bit, and I have a little extra room to snake it out. There's 3 bolts down here. I believe they're 13 millimeter, and they are. There we go, 3. And then this weird nut bracket thing that makes life 10 times easier. Whoop. Let's take the tie rod end off. That'll just make it that much easier. I believe that one's 19 millimeter. That one is right back here. Like for me, the ball joint comes, or tie rod end comes off right away. Nice and easy, no prying. If so, get a pickle fork in there and hammer it in all the way until it pops out. This joint might get replaced. It's a little wibbly wobbly. And now, move some stuff out of the way. You should be able to pry that up out of the way, off to the side. And the axle is out. I just did the same thing to the other side, and I'll show you when I'm all done what to do on the inside. So I thought this was supposed to go easy because everything else was just freshly taken apart not too long ago. I should have replaced the tie rod ends last time. This one's a little shot. I just had to cut it. I probably could have gotten it off, but I just chose to cut it with the Sawzall right off the nut because I'm not going to be able to get it back on if it keeps spinning, so obviously I'm replacing it. So while I'm doing the axle on this side, we're going to go underneath this drain cock right there. Grab and position it, twist, hopefully it's not hot, and there we go. We're going to pull the cap off the top. Oh, got you guys wet a little bit. Oop. There we go. Go up here, take this off. You can hear it already. Put that up there. We're just gonna let the coolant drain. So back in here, there's gonna be M8 triple squares all the way around holding this in, unless it's an aftermarket axle, then it's gonna be like a 6 millimeter Allen head, I think. They really suck to get to. Pretty much the way to do it, if you have 2 people, is to have somebody sit inside the car, put it in neutral, turn the axle, put it in gear, and then break them loose. I'm going to try and do it with the impact. to turn the axle. Out it comes. It's definitely the easier way to do it. Definitely get yourself a nice set of triple square set. Triple square bit, that's what I meant to say. Like I said, they're about the $22 on Amazon is what I got them for in another video I said. But same thing for the other side. Kind of have to get under the car for that one, so it's a little harder to film. Pretty much, I don't want to film things twice on this because it's an engine swap video. It's meant to show you how to do an engine swap quick. Somebody just pulled in across the street from me, and I don't know who it is. I'm gonna go find out. Okay, both axles are out, and now it's just transmission. Now I have to pull everything out of the top. I'm going to try and pull it as much as I can solid without taking anything off, like the intake manifold or anything. So much easier that way. Coolant's drained. Oil, I'm not going to drain until it's on the stand. Yes, this motor's going on a stand. It's not getting scrapped. It's going to probably go to another build, probably for Brandon. We don't know yet. Time for a beer break. There you guys have it. That's it for this episode. This is part 1. Come back in a couple days for part 2, and it'll be probably another 10-15 minutes long, depending on where it lies. Yes, this is shot after everything went down, mainly because I'm editing now, and now I have to chop up the episode so it's not an hour-long episode for you guys to watch. I feel like a lot of people will get bored about halfway through, so stay tuned for the next episode, guys. Remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like what we do and you want to support everything, hit the subscribe button. The more followers and everything, the more we're going to do. This motor will probably end up being boosted in the future. I just got to take it apart, clean it up. Probably going to do a teardown video, pretty much videos on how to take the cylinder head off and everything, so you guys know if you get stuck and you need to use it. See you guys.